What is social media? We hear this all the time. We're doing social. Oh, we got someone doing social. We got to start doing social. And I think it'd be cool to talk about it. What is social media? What is doing social media mean? And what does that mean? And how does that differ? I think that's a big piece of this too. How B2C brands use social is way different than how B2B brands use social. I'll also say social for big brands is a must have. If your product is on every single shopping or every single grocery store, you've got a duty now on some level to monitor and listen to what the social chatter is. You've seen some good examples of what happens when you don't pay attention to this stuff. So if you're everywhere, you're a big brand, you've got no choice. Maybe you're not going to take part in it, or you get to decide how you're going to take part in it. But listening and monitoring this, that's a must have because there's chatter going on. I think it becomes a different focus for these, and that's what these big service businesses as well, right? I think of like an Uncle Ed's oil change or certainly a Little Caesars. Like they have to do it. They have to be tuned into what people are saying about it. On the flip, on the B2B side, I think they often see these success stories that have happened with social. And, another thing that we can talk about a little bit is the going viral, like what that means for people and how that impacts the biz. And, we've had our fair share of that too, we want to get on social. I think we can go viral. And that statement alone is
eye rolling moment.
Yeah, if we knew how to make things go viral. I mean, I remember talking about this with John over the, big time creative director, had a bunch of really good hits from an advertising standpoint, and him telling me, Nick, we don't know. We don't know what makes a hit. We don't know why Zoom Zoom did so good or The Counting Sheep played so well. Like, we threw away a bunch of other ideas and for some reason it hit. So there's no formula to it. I think there's a relevancy. Where's the culture at? Where's society at? And then you find this right connect that everybody kind of falls in love with. But man, that's not you and I talk about Disney, their formula kind of how they make these hits. And I heard the guys, the creators of South Park, they had a little video. They were talking to some class about how they write stories. And this happens, but then not and this happens. It's got to be a this happens, therefore this happens, but then this happens, so then this happens, like that. There is a pattern, I think, to a good movie or a good TV show that kind of follows that cadence. But social, viral, creating content, why are we doing it? I think is a big question mark for folk. And I think it's an exciting topic for a lot of people. I think it was similar when the app game came out. Oh, we need an app. Everybody needed an app. Everybody feels that they need to be on social. And I don't know if that's entirely true. At least in what capacity they're on social. What they think they need social for may not be the real reason that you should be on social media.
Yeah, that's what I don't like talking about. Because the amount of subjectivity that exists on the topic. Social is another forum, right? It's another auditorium for you to decide if you should be in it or not. Just like creating a website. Got a business, should I have a website? People had to decide, should I be in that space or not? And there is a lot of opinion on what is doing social. A lot of opinion on whether you're doing it right or doing it wrong. What is right? What is wrong? Makes it easier when you're talking measurable outcomes that impact business, because then social channels are just another channel that you add to your mix. But that's not why social was created. That's not why these platforms were created. It was to create an auditorium where people of like ideas or like beliefs, like pastimes could share what was going on. Give me a peek into your world of what's going on. And for all of the challenges and issues that exist now, by that being a platform, did you see last week the market midday took a dip because a blue checked Twitter account made a statement and everyone thought it was an official statement from the administration. And it wasn't.
It was just a blue check.
It was just a blue check account. It was an opinion that someone threw out. And it, the day kind of rebounded, but that's how subjective and volatile it is now. So for a brand, my biggest pet peeve are brands that think they should be creating posts for every holiday. No, you shouldn't. Just because it's a holiday doesn't mean you got to say something about the holiday, especially if it's not authentic.
And how many people that we talk to, when we ask about social, they say, oh yeah, we're doing it. And we say, what are we doing? And it's, oh, we've got someone that posts and, on all the holidays, we make sure to wish everybody happy St. Patrick's Day. And yeah, man, heck yeah.
And there is the whole PC aspect of what should we be contributing to the conversation that is happening, right? Versus people asking the right question of, can we be authentic in what we contribute to the conversation? And social platforms make it really easy for you to forget some of the simple rules that we learned as kids, right? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. If you don't know subject matter, don't perpetrate like you do.
Unless you have a social media account. Then you can do whatever you want.
Well, that's the thing, right? Everybody's got a hot mic now.
Yep.
And so for businesses, the understanding why you're there. Why are we on XYZ platform? And that's a major step that a lot of businesses skip over. It's not, let's be there because, we can. It's a come one, come all. No, let's have some intentionality behind why we're going to be there, who we're going to be there to listen to, who we're going to be there to talk to, and then who we're going to be there to help.
Yeah, we always looked at it and put it into the one of five. Social media is made up of 5 parts to me: listen, monitor, engage, post, and then sponsor. Listen is basically you using social media to do research, right? It's to understand what people are saying about a specific topic, a specific industry, a product. What is the sentiment of our space? Sometimes people are talking about you directly, the products or services you provide. Sometimes it's indirectly. So you're a lawn care business. You haven't started, you don't have clients yet, but it'd be a good idea to go check out all the other lawn care services and see what the top gripes are of the customers. That, I think, is a great research tool. And certainly the bigger you are, the more important that becomes. Next is to monitor. So monitoring would be, what are people saying about your own page? So we see this a lot too. People get a social media account or create profiles on social media. They post a couple things to it. People reach out to it, but they've got no one equipped to engage with them, to respond to them, to add clarity to them. It just goes and you hear nothing. I've got a good one from when the girls were first born. I think I did a Geico. Or what's the car seat? Not Geico.
Graco.
Graco? Was it? That is the newer one. I can't remember. You know what it is, Marie? What?
Graco. You're close.
Graco?
What did I say? Graco?
Graco.
All right, Graco. Maybe it was them. Yeah, I think it was. Anyways, I took the cutest picture of the world of Ellie, and I posted it on, I think it was Twitter, and I hashed safe baby. I don't know. I was being cute and wanted to share a pic, and I hashtagged Graco, and not a word from him. And it kind of rubbed me. Like, wait a minute.
How dare you?
I gave you guys a free shout out, and you didn't. No, they don't owe me. Big brand, right? But monitoring, understanding, like it is their duty now because they do have the platform. They are on Twitter, or were at the time. It was something that they should have been made aware of. At the very least, how many times are we showing up? Or how many times are people actually pinging our brand? And maybe they did do that. But missed opportunity, right? In some degree, even a little like button, a little heart on the thing from them. That would have been cool.
Was that the last time you bought that from that brand?
Yes, sir. No, and now I'll put that on myself. I won't put that on them. But I think here's another opportunity, though. It's like the 24/7. You got a phone number on the end of the commercial, and you say you can call anytime. That means you got to answer the phone anytime. Same with social. If you're going to open the social door, then you kind of got to accept the fact that you've got to be available. So listen, monitor, engage. So that's where Graco missed it for me, anyways, is they didn't engage. I was giving them some love and didn't get anything back on whatever scale that is. One guy of all the car seats, no big deal. Then you get into posting, which I think this is where most people go to. Posting. What are we going to post? When in reality, that's probably the least important of all the sections. Last one being sponsoring content, which I think is a huge opportunity for basically any brand. Almost fair. Like, just the targeting ability that we have on social to be able to drive targeted ads to a demo and a geo to allow them to go to your website for the next steps, I think is huge.
Yeah.
Posting is where everybody thinks it goes. No one really thinks about the listen, engage, monitor piece. They go to, the holidays. All right, we got to get a post out. It's Final 4 week or whatever it is. And that's where I think it kind of opens up of what should we be doing? Well, we've heard this a bunch of times. Oh man, we gotta start posting to our social. I don't know. Now, should you be running some targeted ad campaigns on social? Heck yeah. And measuring those and split testing them against each other? Heck yes, you should. But to what end? We talk about this, even for us, of how and why we used the platforms that we used.
Right.
Were based on what the outcomes we were looking to achieve, or at least who we wanted to talk to. So I remember this was years ago, and you can tell me if I get this wrong, but Twitter was our live event feed. So if we went to any events and learned about industry stuff, we would tweet it. That was our live learning stuff we would post to Twitter. Anything about our office and our culture and our people and our fun that we have, that was on Instagram. And that was basically for employees and new employees of, hey, get a sense of what we're like. Mm-hmm. Prospects as well, I suppose, of, all right, these guys like to go hang out and go to ball games, and they've got an office and they collaborate, and okay, they're actually real people here in Troy, Michigan. And then I can't really remember what we used Facebook for. And then LinkedIn was more of our positioning SSDig as a thought leader or as a industry expert in our space. So that was more maybe our little more pitchy or a little more, let's show off the knowledge that we have. Mm-hmm. I think that worked for us then. We don't have that today. I mean, we're not playing it the same way today. So I think it's hard for people too when you're all focused on the posting side of this and not using it as a resource to learn from your audience or learn from the industry and what people are saying. You go into this, let's post, and you think you're going to get, what do you think you're going to get from it? Yeah. And that's the tough part, because you and I, we'd lived through this phase of what the value of a follower was. I mean, it was, 40 to 50% of your followers would see your content organically, to 1% of your followers, less than 1% see your content. And I think that created a lot of confusion for companies and of understanding what kind of value they were pulling from these platforms.
Right. And it's not rocket science, but doing that work up front of answering the question, why? Why are we going to be on this platform? Why are we pulling up to the microphone in this space? And if you solve that, if you answer those questions, the rest of it is fairly easy.
And you know what I think about with that? You're right. And you know what I think that comes if you really do that exercise, you realize how expensive it is.
Yeah.
If you really go through the work.
Yeah.
We like to bring up Wendy's. Wendy's had a good shtick going.
Still does, man.
Still
one of the best accounts out there.
And it's basically kind of trash talk, right? A little bit of trash talk, a little bit of satire, kind of comedy, funny, kitschy kind of things. Without a doubt. And I don't know how big the team is. Is it 8 people, 4 people, or 16 people in that realm?
Or 60.
Or 60 people. There are people dedicated to sitting in a room, coming up with a bunch of ideas, throwing a bunch on the floor to come out with the best stuff. So I love to know the investment made. And they've been doing it for years. So it's got to be worth it. That's the one thing that I love looking at these other companies. And hey, if it didn't work, they wouldn't keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to get to that threshold to like, if Wendy's deems it so, and I'm sure that they do, that this social media, the Twitter, way that they handle X now, is deemed appropriate to keep going, they've done the math. In that minimal threshold of what it takes to make it work, they hit that. They didn't limp in with, okay, here you go, newest guy on the team. Here's our Twitter account for Wendy's. Have fun. That is definitely not how it went down. They knew what it took to actually do what they've done with their channel, which is
content writers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and now I think a lot of companies who have social responsibility teams or community outreach teams, quality assurance teams, it does give you another vehicle to be accountable to those things. Because now you can, you got a customer who shows their kid in your car seat. You have a vehicle now where you can be responsible for responding to you. You got a quality issue with that product. Now I have a vehicle to be able to get in front of you and deal with it.
Oh, that's a good one. I wonder what the outcome would have been if I would have said something about the car seat.
Yeah.
Like if wasn't weirdly flawed or messed up with it or pain in the butt, I wonder what it would have been then.
Yeah.
They were probably too busy dealing with that than to deal with the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where I'm underwhelmed with social platforms, because as soon as you invite critique, which is healthy, which you should have, you can't be mad at what you get, especially when you're not prepared to meet it head on. And the best businesses, the best brands that succeed on these platforms are the ones who take the good with the bad, and they know how to keep a steady hand in how they're using it, how they're leveraging it.
You remember our account back in the day? This guy had a t-shirt biz. He was selling t-shirts. And part of what we wanted to do to help him was run ads, run sponsored content on Facebook to a target audience to sell these shirts. And we got it going, and people were starting to comment on the shirt, on the post that we had. Just good stuff. Not, some people were talking trash, which is normal, but a lot of cool, way to go. And his philosophy was, and he's a 90s guy, right? He knew how to build brands. No doubt. He did it before social. So we did this, and he started getting the comments, and I'm like, hey, you gotta start, like, you want us to go in here? And he's like, no, man, we don't respond. We're not responding to this. That's never been the case, that you put something out like that and you engage with the audience. Nah.
Yeah.
And it was then we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Because that's what social is. If we're not gonna play the game, this isn't the medium. This isn't the way to do it. And it being like a aha for me, I don't know if I was a aha for him.
My stint in music, the best example for contrast that I have is back in the day when a superstar artist would release a new album or go on tour, you'd see them everywhere, right? They were touchable, quote unquote. Soon as that was over, they went back and became reclusive and you didn't see them. They went back under. That changed, right? So that we were conditioned as fans, as consumers.
Oh, they're back out again.
Yes. I think Taylor Swift's probably the earliest.
She broke it.
She broke it, man, where people could reach out to her on her account when she wasn't as big as she is now. And she was responding. And there was a brand advocacy that was like instantly created.
Showing up to people's weddings and stuff.
And certainly the proximity, right? Social is in our pocket, right? So whether you were physically in the same room or not, you felt like it when you started getting responses from these entities, these bigger than life personas that people had access to. And that changed. That was the shift of really asking yourself, if we go on this platform, what do we intend to do with it? What do we want people to expect when we get on this platform? And that's what makes it so tricky, especially with all of the ability now to do tracking and to really try to eke out what the impact is that you're getting, be it help the bottom line of a business goal or some type of social cause, whatever it is, being able to measure effectiveness and impact. I think companies, we do a poor job of asking those very real, simple questions up front so that you can tell your audience, tell the people who might be listening to your microphone what you hope to get from it.
I think too, like with a lot of, I'll say the majority of companies that we talk to that say they're doing social have someone giving minimal effort, not a full-time gig either, but they have someone that is focused on some level to listen, monitor, engage, and post.
Yeah.
But where I think the miss is that all that work, you're not doing any of the marketing to support what you're going to yield from the learnings that you create from that. So if you got a social media person, and let's pretend they're really good at listening and they're monitoring your own platform, but the only things that you're posting on your when I say monitor, I mean monitor the activity of your own page, right? Or the engagement. Are people asking questions about what I'm posting? Are people liking it or not liking it? That's important to do. But today, without sponsoring that content, you're talking about such a small percentage. So when you take a step back and you're like, all right, you got this poor guy, this poor kid spending 15 to 20 hours a week posting to social, and this thing's getting seen by like 4 people. And it's funny because you can see it, and it's 4 employees. Like every post has like 4 likes on it, and it's the same 3 employees and then the family member of another employee. And our joke here is, with all my aunts.
Man, are you describing yourself?
No matter what, we're going to get my aunts to like our post. And now if that was the KPI, I mean, for the time that we invested into this, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So where I think people should start with this is really how can you utilize social as a marketing platform for yourself? And that's where the sponsorship comes in. That's what we see a lot. Yeah, we're doing social. They're not running ads on social. Well, then our next question is, you must have a big social following. You're dedicating 20 hours a week to social. You must have hundreds of thousands of followers that are chattering about you that you got to keep your thumb on the pulse of. No, you just have someone walking around with a camera taking pictures and trying to relate it to what's happening today. Heck with that. Sponsorship is super important for generating KPI, generating an outcome that you can measure against it working or not working. We rarely see that. We rarely see it. And it's when we do peel that back, you can see how this social is really used. And this is how, for us, outside of sponsoring content, social media to us is really used as a validator for people already looking for us. So it's not necessarily the entry point. I think a lot of businesses would consider that their posting on social media is going to create these entry points for new customers. It's not. That is not what it is. It is to cultivate, engage, and grow the relationship you have with your existing customer base. Or, and this is without posting, or it's a validator for customers thinking about working with you. And that's kind of our like our social, what we've looked at as our own social, that it was really a tool for, all right, we met with Nick and Mike and they've done this before. We think they're going to be pretty good to work with. Let's go scope them out a little bit. You're going to go look at our LinkedIn page. You're going to go look at our corporate social channels and see what we post and where we go and what we do to get a better understanding of what we're like. You're not interested in knowing what we're like until we've proven that we're on the short list of consideration to be someone that we would work together.
I'll put an asterisk on that because B2B, totally with you. I think there's some variance depending on what you are selling or promoting. You know, my vice, man, I am the king of impulse shopping on Meta. I mean,
those are sponsored ads.
Oh yeah.
100%.
So there is a gray area where, you know, my running joke of I'm not the best golf player on the course. I just look like right? I look the part. I follow these accounts where they have some really cool apparel. They're posting organic things. And if they do it right, when they run sponsored content, I've already validated that they're a legit company that I appreciate to some degree. And their competitors might see it and I get hit up by them too. And there's this domino effect of I'm following you organically. Other people see it. Your competitors see it. And they know that this is a guy who is prone to buy the latest t-shirt or the latest gadget off the platform. And I think companies who do a poor job of answering those questions, they miss out. Well, the ones who think, well, we are doing it. We are posting. They miss out on, well, who are you posting for?
Yeah, and like why would they follow you in the first place? That's the real question.
Yeah.
Like, why am I in? Like, I could see us. Yeah, I'm gonna follow Nike. I'm gonna follow Nike because they just have cool stuff. They got cool shoes that they post. They have cool apparel that they post. I'm gonna get the golf apparel. I'm gonna get the softball apparel. I'm gonna get the sports that I don't play apparel. But it's Nike. When I think about the golf stuff, and even the people that I follow, like, I'm not following a bunch of companies.
Yeah.
Like, we're following personalities. You and I were getting into this last week a little bit. Like, one of my faves, there's her name is Paige Spiranek, and she's a babe. I mean, no doubt about it. She is a babe, and she can golf. I think she was maybe pro for a little bit. Like, she's not good enough to be a pro. I think maybe she played college, got up there. I don't know if she made it all the way to the LPGA or whatever, but she didn't stick around. She wasn't good enough. Got a great golf swing, and she's got some level of personality, right? A little fun. She is in these videos showing you how to hit a ball out of the sand. She's doing these videos showing drills of, hey, put a towel, this will help you this. I mean, it's cool stuff she's at beautiful golf courses. So it's a good thing to follow. Now, every so often, she is going to do a sponsorship with someone. So again, I'm seeing her organically. It's an organic post. I follow her and do I see yes, the only time I see sponsored content though is when she's in the ad and it's not her account though. You know what I mean? So it's a golf company. Their account is running the ad, but she's the one that we recognize to watch it. And that's what I think. So getting into social as a company, you really do have to ask yourself, why do we want to be here? If you want to be here and get followed, I think I follow some like fishing stuff too. And there are brands, and I think it's Fishing Line. My memory serves me correctly. But all the ads are people catching big fish.
And then influencers. Yeah.
So it's makes a ton of sense. You got all these guys catching fish. You send me the video. I'm going to post it. That's a good strategy. Us, those guys at the fishing line factory, walking the floor, showing us how strong the fish is, or the line is, probably ain't going to last all that long, right? This was remember the dude mixing paint at Sherwin-Williams,
Yeah.
mixing the paint. Dude's like, hey, I might have something here. You guys want to take it? Sherwin-Williams is like, heck no, we don't. I think they fired him, actually. Like, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be working, not making videos. He went to another smaller but big paint company, and they said, hey, man, have at it. Make paint. So here you go. One company says, you're wasting our time. Please don't make these. And it was on his own. To another company understanding the value of what was happening that said, all right, we'll hire you. All we want you to do is make paint videos. They knew they have KPIs. They have some value that they've determined of how they can get more exposure to their line. And this is the piece on that personal brand versus corporate brand that I think get missed. And again, I'm talking outside of sponsor because I think everybody, selling t-shirts, selling golf tees, selling golf clothes, whatever, you should certainly consider how you're playing social from a sponsor. But doing social, being on social, it's hard. It's hard work. It takes a lot of thinking and a lot of strategy. It's the never off broadcast.
Yeah.
Your social platforms are basically your 24/7 studio to create content. And if you don't have a good idea of who that is for and what message you want to get across, you're going to start making holiday posts and not going to get anywhere with it.
So I'm hearing 4 things for any business to consider or to walk through when thinking about social. 1, answer the question of why. Why should we be on this platform? Why should we be doing social? 2, have some type of idea of who it's for.
Who are we doing it for?
Who are we doing this for?
And there are sometimes it's okay to say, we're doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for our own crew, and we're giving them a glimpse into it. This is what Will Smith did, and who was my guy that quit? Run DMC. Rev Run. No, the other one, not Rev Run. He had his TV show. Uncle Russell. Russell Simmons.
From Def Jam.
Yeah, he was the man at content creation. And what was it to him, I'd imagine? Was it a glimpse for us as fans to get a little glimpse into what his life was like and what his thoughts were and what his values were?
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. Number 3, know what you want to get out of it. What do we want to get from it? Right? And number 4, being a creative. Be authentic in what it is you're putting out. Be authentic about what it is that you're sharing, what you're creating, what you're posting. Give a sense of what the real is, because the slippery slope with social is you can perpetrate, but you'll be found out.
Yeah. And it's so easy to get to block out the noise on social is so easy. I see people do it everywhere I go. Doom scrolling is the new term.
Yeah, man.
And then you see one stop once in a while, and it'll stop for a couple seconds, and then it'll go.
Yeah.
And that whoever they're stopping on did that.
Yeah.
The only way, though, you get to that authenticity piece is to answer the first two questions.
Yes.
Why are we doing this, and what is it for? If you can't do that, you're going to come off as cheap, as inauthentic, as a shtick.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a noisemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And noise works too. I mean, we see a fair share of that, but that's coming from people. And that's one of the things that all these brands, all these social media outlets were meant for people to people. It was people connecting with people. When it first came out, it was the girl that you saw the night before that you didn't have enough guts to go up and talk to. You had an opportunity now to go on social and send a message.
Don't do that.
Well, shoot. Isn't that's the only way now, isn't it? I mean, I think you don't see them anymore. You just kind of go here to find them.
Yeah.
Wow, I lost my train of thought. Picking up women off the internet, I guess, trend. It's funny you say don't do that. I don't know how else you do it anymore, right? I don't need to know.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, that's that's a.
But it does. It changes it changes your ability. We joke about like walking up and getting told no.
Yeah.
And you had to kind of live through being told, "Get out of here, you weirdo," or whatever it was, and now you don't, which makes you a little more gutsy. What I was saying was the loudness, all the noise typically comes from people. So if you're gonna do social media as a brand, it doesn't absolve you from connecting with people. And that's what I see probably the most of is these brands talking to an audience rather than a spokesperson, an expert in the brand, influencer, maybe this happens as well, representing the audience to engage with who you're trying to target.
Yeah, it's good. You can't talk at. You have to talk with.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
The best spot. The biggest accounts are those.
Yeah.
They're talking with their audience.
Right.
And that's a hard thing for brands to do. That always has been, right? That's a slippery slope in its own. I mean, when Wendy's coming out of this a few years in now and it being a success, I guarantee there were people nervous about this approach, right? Of like, yo, you guys are throwing us into some things that maybe we shouldn't be playing with. Well, it panned out, right?
Here we are talking about.
Heck yeah. And they're doing a heck of a job.
All right. I feel a little bit better about talking about the subject. Now I'm on a cheeseburger.
Oof. Dave's Cheeseburgers. Dave Thomas.
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Well, I hope it was helpful. I hope it's a little more clear. I think I can't think of a business that shouldn't be considering social media as a platform to run ads. I mean, the targeting alone is incredible. Who knows how long we'll have it?
Yeah.
It is amazing. When you think about all those listening, monitoring, engaging, all the things that you're having your internal social media manager doing, that's what I think needs a lot of work and understanding what do you want out of it?
Right.
Who are we doing this for? Why are we doing this? What are we looking to achieve? That is paramount.